Now you're looking for trouble condition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of American Werewolves. I am your co-host, Brandon.
And I am Jerry.
And today we are here to talk about Alien Romulus. This is the latest installment in the Alien franchise. I think it's like, the 7th film, I want to say? This is what we researched before. Yeah, I want to say it's the 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Yeah, I mean, I want to say 7th or 9th. Because there's the Alien versus Predator movies. I'm not really counting those in this continuity, though.
I wouldn't.
Because like the more I was even looking it up, because it's been a while since I've seen those movies, I'm like, I don't think these are in the same timeline, but
yeah,
whatever. Regardless, it is the latest in the Alien franchise. It is. Let's just get into the plot real quick. While scavenging the deep ends of the derelict space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. This film is directed by Fede Alvarez and also written by him and his current reoccurring partner, Rodo Sayegas. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So sorry for butchering it. And they have teamed up multiple times on different films. They teamed up for the Evil Dead remake, which was a remake that I really love. I love that movie. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, and I think that's probably one of my favorites. And they also did Don't Breathe, which is another film I absolutely loved. Seriously, like every time I've seen a horror movie from these two, they haven't miss. I just got back from watching the movie a few days ago. Jerry, you just got back from watching it a second time.
Yes.
Literally just before we started recording.
Right. Yep.
Now, let's just cut to it, I guess. Fede Alvarez, he has made a bunch of hits. Do you think this one is a hit, or do you think it's a miss?
I don't have any complaints about this movie.
None whatsoever.
Not a single one.
So it's a full fucking swing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm glad we can agree on that one, because I fucking love this movie so much.
I saw, I was watching a review on it, and this guy was like, it's great. It's like a love letter to all Alien films. But my problem with it is that it's just another Alien film. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Okay, what did you think you walked into?
Yeah, like...
What you think you paid for? Okay, so... Before we get into the movie, you have not seen any other Alien movie except the original, like a long ass time ago, right?
Yeah.
As far as I remember. Right. Now, I wouldn't consider myself a massive Alien fanboy like a lot of people. I love the first movie. I've seen it quite a few times. And I honestly just watched Aliens for the first time. What was it? Yeah, just last Saturday, which was a day before watching Alien Romulus, because I felt like I know this film takes place between those first two movies, acting as a midquel, and I was like, well, let me study out, get prepared. I enjoyed Aliens, and I loved the first Alien movie, but I haven't seen Alien 3, I haven't seen Alien Resurrection, I believe it's called, and I haven't seen Alien Covenant. I've seen Prometheus, which is a prequel to the original Alien, and a lot of people don't like that movie. I really like that movie a lot. I've seen it quite a few times. Seen it in IMAX. I think it's amazing.
I remember you really liking it when it came out.
Yeah, I was a huge fan, and a lot of people didn't like it because they felt like there was too much lore added to this alien mythos, this mythology. A lot of people just are going and saying, oh, we just want the alien action, the alien scares. We want it to be like the old school monster movie, like those earlier films, And that's why, yeah. And a lot of people weren't a fan of Prometheus because of its, very big, massive ideas. And I haven't seen Alien Covenant, but apparently the film kind of falls in the same way because it's trying to appease the Prometheus fans and Alien fans. When I see it, I'll understand what they're trying to talk about a little more. But with this film, Alien Romulus, they decide to throw it back to the old school monster monster movie that first film very much was, along with a little bit of the action horror that Aliens was. And we get that monster movie that people have been asking for, and people are still complaining about it. It's kind of insane to me. Like, I'm like, it just shows that, like, with this fan base, like, everyone, it's just very, I guess, unique in the fact that everyone just enjoys something different about it.
And that's with every fan base. Like,
Yeah.
you got Star Wars.
Yeah.
I saw a comment on that guy's review. I saw a comment that was like, yeah, this is basically just the Force Awakens for Star Wars. Because how the Force Awakens just pays homage to previous Star Wars films. But, like,
Yeah.
why is that a fucking bad thing?
It's not, because you know what? I definitely felt Force Awaken vibes while watching Romulus. I definitely felt a lot of the callbacks to that first original film in this one. But I enjoyed Force Awakens. Well, those other sequels, that's a whole other fucking that can of worms I don't want to open. But Force Awakens, for what it was fine. And for Romulus, I felt like it took a lot of I felt like with Force Awakens, kind of like being like a remake of A New Hope almost, in a sense, where it's like everything is beat for beat the same. I felt like Force Awakens didn't have that many new ideas. What I think Alien Romulus does different is it takes those ideas in the original film and it expands on a lot of them in a really cool, unique way. Especially in some ways in this movie, almost like gives a little more context to the events in the first movie that a lot of fans, including myself, have been kind of theorizing on what's happening in that first movie, like behind closed doors. And you get some of those answers here, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I think this is seriously one of the most fun I've had in a horror movie all of 2024. This is by far my favorite horror movie of the year so far, I think. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, I just want to keep watching it. I want to see some more. I want to catch more things with it.
Yeah.
I really, really, really enjoy this one. It is so fun. And it is genuinely scary too. And very, very tense. Going into this movie, I felt like with Fede Alvarez, I thought he was going to try to bring more of that Evil Dead flavor to this movie, but he brought way more of a don't breathe flavor in this one than I was honestly anticipating, and I think the movie works better for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a lot of intense scenes, like, that I still think about to this day since watching it. And I'm sure they're still going through your head right now. You just got out of the theater.
Yeah, I mean, just the characters, the action sequences, I'm someone who, like, jump scares don't really get me, so they're not blatantly obvious, unless or I can't pick them out unless they're blatantly obvious, because, like, a moment happened today in the theater and somebody had jumped, and I looked at the guy in front of me and I was like, oh, it clicked to me, like, oh, that's a jump scare. But, like, even, like, Emma was saying when we had first seen it, like, the jump scares are really good in it as well.
They're so well done.
They're not, like, cheesy ones that we usually get in, like, horror films. Yeah, it's a phenomenal fucking movie, and the only complaint I have about it is the mistreatment of Andy.
Yes. Oh my god. I felt so bad. Like, what's that kid's name? Jorn?
Yeah, some like Jorn or some shit. Like
Jorn?
that.
Yeah, it's played by Spike Fern.
Yeah.
Such a dick. Such a dick. But you know what's funny with these characters? It's like he's like the biggest dickhead in the world, and you just want him to die. Like, just the way he's acting towards Andy. But there's something that they explain with his backstory with, because Andy being a droid, there's a reason why Jordan doesn't like him, and it goes into like his backstory with what happened with his family years prior to that, and you instantly you get it, like you understand why. But there's also like there's no need for him to be this way, especially if they're on a mission. But I think that's just props to the actor, honestly, for both Jordan and Andy, played by David Johnson. Who, dude, I don't know who this dude is, but I instantly want to see him in more things.
Oh
He
my
is
God.
so good in this movie.
He is he's the best character in the film.
Yeah, by far.
He's
He ain't even human. Well, he's human to me now. By the end.
he's
Um,
the most likable, and he is just performance wise the best.
so good.
Isabella Merced. I don't know
Yes,
if that's how you pronounce her last name.
Isabella Merced. Yeah,
Okay. For
she's gonna be
the
Dina in The Last of Us Part Two.
which I'm excited for, because for the little screen time that she has in this movie, she does so well with it.
Oh my dude, yeah, everyone's on point here.
Yeah.
Everyone, literally. Um, Including what was it, Kaylee Spaney, who she was in Civil War earlier this year. If you haven't seen Civil War, you need to check that out. It's not a horror movie, but it might as well be, honestly. Like
I heard that was phenomenal.
it really is. Like it is. Yeah, like I want to watch it again, but at the same time, it's just made me kind of sick to my stomach by the end of the movie that I was like, I don't know if I can. But she's phenomenal in that. She was also, she played Priscilla in the film Priscilla just late last year.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she was Priscilla opposite Jacob Elordi. She was really good in that too. Here, as always, she's phenomenal. Not my favorite character she's played, but I really enjoyed her character. I really bought her. I really understood like where she was coming from and where she why she was so desperate, where she was wanting to go, because she was screwed over really bad, especially in the beginning of this movie. That it's like you just want her out. You want all these characters to get out of this terrible situation that they're in. And they all work so well together. Like their chemistry really is on point. And at first glance, like in the trailer, you can kind of get the vibe that, this is going to kind of act like a slasher movie, like a teen slasher movie with, these characters being so young. These are probably the youngest we've had in the franchise that are like the main leads. But the explanation they use to like get them like to the ship and why they're doing this absolutely like stupid mission to just get away and like find, reach their destination. It makes sense because you see the situation they're in and you see how desperate they are. Like, of course, they'll do anything to get out of it. Anyone would, I think. Because that life they're living is not a life. It is terrible. Which I gotta say also, like, from the beginning, when it shows where they're living on that, like, tiny ass rundown city, I got a lot of like Blade Runner vibes and even old school Star Wars vibes, to the point where I was like, Fede Alvarez should definitely look into, like, if not Fede Alvarez, at least the production crew and the cinematographer should really look into developing a Star Wars movie, or maybe like work on that upcoming Blade Runner series, because it's like so reminiscent of that time period. It's pretty awesome.
I've never seen Blade Runner, so I can't comment on that, but
awesome movie. But yeah, it's another Ridley Scott film. A lot of people even said like, oh, like those movies are in the same universe. I honestly doubt it, but aesthetically they are the exact same, which is cool. But yeah, I just loved how visual this movie looked. The sound design alone. I don't comment too much on sound design in movies, but like a horror movie, like for it to be really effective, it has to have really good sound design, and this movie pulled it off brilliantly.
I will say, really be mindful of go to a good theater to see it.
Yeah, go to IMAX for this movie.
Honestly, because like my viewing to like I'm thankful I went like the first time and saw it in a good theater. The theater I went to today, the sound system wasn't super hot, and I noticed that there were some lines that I had heard in the first viewing that I didn't pick up on in the second one.
Okay. Because you want to know something, I've been looking up and I see everyone complaining about the same exact thing. Some theaters, I had some trouble making out the lines in the beginning of the movie. But I was able to keep up. It ended up being fine. But I know some people are saying like, "Oh, I heard these lines clearly," and some people going like, "I couldn't understand what the hell was going on half the time."
There
In the first half, it always seems to be the first half of the movie.
a lot of you know what I think it is.
Mm.
The reason it's the first half for me, it was a lot of Jorn's lines, and I
The accent
think
is thick.
it's his accent, and you want to have a good sound system to make sure that it comes through clearly.
Yeah,
Because I did notice that a lot of the lines were lost in that first half, and a lot of the lines that I didn't get were his lines.
yeah, it is a lot of his. But also, like, I did feel like a lot of the other characters, it seemed like they were talking low or like I wouldn't say muffled, but almost like I don't know. It was just really hard to keep up with a little bit, but you could still kind of pick up like what was going on. But I will say I was kind of struggling to figure out like what the mission was for a while until it started getting in motion. I was like, okay, I'm picking it up.
I don't think I ever had that issue. I don't think there were ever any major lines that I lost.
Yeah,
But there were definitely like some just like standard dialogue that I
yeah.
didn't pick up sometimes.
But still, it was fine. Because like when it comes to like the scares and once the horror aspect of the movie picks up, because it takes a while to get to the alien stuff. Almost like an hour. I wouldn't say hour. I would say like 40 minutes. But it is a slow start.
You don't see the xenomorph until a good chunk of the way into the film.
Yeah,
The
I'm
f-
talking about like the face huggers
yeah, the
and
face
stuff.
huggers, I would
Um,
say like 30 to 40 minutes maybe.
yeah, I think roughly like that. Yeah. Um, which there's a cool sequence with the face huggers. There's actually really two cool sequences with them. It's the first one where they're trapped in that room, and there's a sequence of Andy happening
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
is like really creepy looking, and it's just it was so scary. I was like, dude, I didn't have that many people in my theater as well, and like it was awesome to see just a few people in there squirming in their seats because of how tense it was.
Yeah, both of my
And like,
viewings weren't super full.
no, but it made a lot of money, which is weird. I guess that's what we get for going on a Sunday and then a weekday.
Yeah, I will say the viewing I just got out of wasn't super full, but the reason we chose this one was because the one before was practically full.
Oh man, yeah, so
So
this movie's getting a lot of good word of mouth so far.
yeah,
Yeah, like I even talked about it with a coworker, and she was like raving about it. She's like, I absolutely loved it. It was scary as hell.
yeah.
Like, um, but yeah, there's that sequence with them, and there's another sequence we'll get into it once we start talking a little more spoilers because I don't want to give them away too much.
Okay.
And there's a scene I won't get too much also into it, but it involves uh zero gravity, and it's really really cool. I think you see snippets
Yeah.
of it in the trailer, but I'm not going to give it away here. That was probably my favorite sequence in the film. It is so awesome. A lot of it feels almost like video game missions too, which is kind of cool as well. Like this made me kind of want to replay Alien Isolation a little bit. I'm
I
not gonna.
literally said that on the drive home.
Yes. Oh, we have to do something with that game.
Yeah.
We got to try something. Um, yeah, because I don't know if you picked up on it the second time. Did you catch the Easter eggs to Isolation in this movie?
No, I didn't.
The emergency like stuff, the phone booth where you like do the save points in the game, they're scattered throughout the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I caught like two, but I like looked up a review and someone said like, oh, there's like a few more out there, and it always seems to be before a big major event happens, which is like reminiscent to the game. And I was like, no way. And I looked up. Fede Alvarez is a huge fan of the game, so he's like, I wanted to incorporate like a lot of that into this movie because he loves it.
I love him so much.
Yeah, so it just
He
shows
does
like
no
he's
wrong.
a true. Yes, dude, he's a big Alien fan. Like
His-
he was perfect for this movie.
Some of the stuff he's produced, but
Texas Chainsaw.
Poltergeist,
He produced Poltergeist?
the remake, yeah.
No way. I
Yeah.
would have not thought that.
I'm like 95% certain he did. Poltergeist.
Good. I mean, I guess you could also say like, he didn't do Don't Breathe.
The second one he didn't do.
Yeah, he didn't do the second one. I think he did unless he wrote it, and I don't know, but I doubt that also.
No, he didn't produce it. It was Sam Raimi.
You're thinking of Sam Raimi.
He
Okay.
did. I thought he had something to do with Poltergeist because I remember wanting to see it because his name was attached to it in some way.
Gotcha.
Maybe I'm just
Maybe it was another movie.
fucking stupid.
Okay, so he did write Don't Breathe too.
Oh, he wrote it?
Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah,
That's
he didn't direct it
disappointing.
though. You should
No,
definitely still watch it. I think you would find some enjoyment in it.
he had nothing to do with why did I think he had something to do with it?
You know what? Because Sam Raimi and Fede Alvarez worked on Evil Dead together, so that could be it. They also worked on Don't Breathe together.
You know what? Maybe when it was like from the producers of Evil Dead, I assumed it was the remake and it was Sam
It could have
Raimi.
been that.
That's
Yep,
probably what
there.
it was.
That's probably it. That's a good that's a good way to get confused for sure. Because it's like, which Evil Dead?
Because Evil Dead is his movie.
Fun
to
one or
me.
the gross one?
Yeah, he owns Evil Dead in my eyes.
Oh no, Sam Raimi forever. I'm not gonna lie. I love Fede Alvarez, but that is Sam, and that's Bruce's fucking franchise.
The Girl in the Spider Web.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
is a
watch that?
sequel. I didn't watch it. I want to. The thing that turned me off about it is like I watched the original Girl with the Dragon. Well, not the original, but the remake by
Oh,
David
you told me
Fincher.
about this. Yeah, and it's like it's the same
And this
characters
is
but
a
like a new
sequel
cast.
to it, but they completely changed everything, including the
Yeah.
cast. But they're like, oh, but it's the same continuing story, and it's like, is it? So yeah, I do want to check it out because I want to support anything Fede does, but I also am kind of like, but this just seems weird. I don't know. It could have been like, I feel like that movie was like, one for me, one for the studio, and that was definitely the one for the studio.
Yeah.
Um, but back to this movie. Yeah, there's some really good scares in here. There's a lot of great tense sequences as we discussed earlier. Not much bad I can say about it. I know like a lot of people have been kind of like divided by the last 30 to 20 to 30 minutes of this movie, like what goes down.
Why?
Um, because like here's the thing with alien movies. I know you haven't seen a lot of them, but they always seem to have this surprised fourth act where something else major goes down. Like you think it's over, and it's like, oh no, something else is happening.
I feel like that's also a Fede Alvarez thing, though. Like that's kind
Yeah,
of what happens
because
at the end of
it felt
Evil
like
Dead.
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even a little bit Don't Breathe too.
Yeah.
But alien movies are known for that. Like almost, from as far as I know, at least the ones I've seen, there's always like a crazy final sequence going on, even when you think the movie's over. And a lot of people are divided because there's a thing that happens. I'm not going to say it now, but we'll talk about it in a few. But yeah, there's something that happens, and a lot of people are like leaning towards hell yeah, and a lot of people are leaning towards nah, this kind of broke the movie for me. And I can kind of see why, depending on the type of alien fan you are. But for me, I thought it worked. There's slight nitpicks I have with it, but nothing major that took away from the movie from me. And also, there is an aspect of CGI used in this movie that did bother me. It's not, and I will say this: a lot of the creatures, it's practical effects. It's like old school, like man in a costume, creature feature vibe, which is cool. And they use a little bit of CGI here and there to enhance it. And for the most part, it honestly looks really good. Like you couldn't really tell. Maybe a few shots here and there, but nothing major. But there is one aspect of the CGI in this movie where I was like, I don't dig it. You should have done this instead. That's the only thing about this movie that I felt like didn't work.
I
But
know what you mean because a lot of people have the same complaint.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it because it doesn't look great. I didn't mind it because what we're looking at is it doesn't really fucking spoil anything.
I still don't want to say it because a lot of people don't, and we're about to jump into spoilers in a few minutes anyway.
I'm gonna keep it vague as fuck. I'm not gonna say what exact. It's a robot that talks. There's a little more to it than that, but I won't go into it.
Yeah.
And the CGI on the robot doesn't look too hot, but because it's an artificial, and it's not human, I didn't mind it really. Like it didn't take anything away from me because like I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, it's not supposed to be real, so I don't mind that the CGI doesn't look super great.
Yeah, but also at the same time, the whole point of this robot is to look real. And because then you could say the same about Andy. And, but like,
I had that counter argument in my head as well, like, oh well, what about Andy? But
yeah.
like
And like
even then,
any
I
other
just
android throughout the franchise, because Andy's not the first that's like a main character in the franchise.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it just I don't know. For me, it didn't bug me as well. Do I think they could have just not used it and used a just different person? Yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
think they could have, which, you know what, fuck it. I already feel like you're teetering too close. So let's just jump into the spoilers and talk about it. Um, like we said, we enjoyed this movie. To me, this is my favorite horror movie of the year. It's my favorite film in the franchise that I've seen so far. Um, like I've seen the AVP movies, I've seen Alien 1, 2, and Prometheus, and I like that these movies tie in a lot to all the movies I've seen except AVP, which is a good thing. Um, but yeah, I think this movie is fantastic. I think, especially if you haven't seen an Alien movie before, I think you should go ahead and watch this one. And then I think it'll definitely pique your interest into the rest of the franchise, and I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And if you are an Alien fan and you're skeptical, just check it out because it's a throwback to the first movie. If you know what you're getting going into it, I think you're gonna enjoy it and you'll be fine and have a good time if you're not too stubborn. Um, yeah. What do you think of this, Jerry? Before we get into the spoiler stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely go see it. It's 100% worth it. See it twice. It's great.
See it 3 times.
Fucking
Buy it on Blu-ray. You know what? That's my rating. I'm buying it on Blu-ray.
yeah, this is something
Jeremy Johns it.
I would buy this on Blu-ray. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. All right, but yeah, definitely watch it. If you have not seen the movie, tune out now. If you have, stick around, or if you just don't care, stick around and see what we think. We're gonna talk about the CGI that I don't like. So spoiler now. They bring back an actor from the first movie and put him in this movie. Let me see the actor's name. Ian Holm, who in this movie he plays Rook, the android that was on the ship, and there's only half of his body now, and they're using and he's a big integral part of this movie into the plot. He was also the android in the original Alien movie he played, except his name was Ash in that movie, and this time it's Rook. I know, even I was confused at first. I was like, wait, I thought we weren't on the Nostromo. Like, I thought, like, at first I was like, oh, we're going back to Nostromo, and then I was like, no, we're on a different ship. But then you see him pop up, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, and then I figured, like, oh, it's the same model,
Yeah.
but it's not the same exact android.
Yeah.
And spoiler for the Alien movies in general, if you haven't seen them, but they're fucking old, so that's on you now.
And
yeah, so
that's why I think they could have used somebody else, because it wasn't the same character. It was the same model, but like, who's to say that all models need to look the fucking same?
Yeah, it was there for fan service. It was there for nostalgia.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, the question I had in my head was like, why didn't you just use Michael Fassbender from Prometheus and Alien Covenant? He was an android in there. I haven't seen Covenant. I don't know if he's the same. I don't think he's the same android in Covenant as he was in Prometheus. But I was like, he is an older model. That's a prequel. Why didn't you just bring him back for it? That would have been, I think, a way better use of that plot line. But I don't know. Maybe, I don't know why for some reason they wanted to use that CGI. I just thought it looked so bad. I mean, I know Fede and the crew, they talked to the actor's family and got their blessing to use his likeness into the film and stuff like that. So that's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is that the CGI just looks bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. I didn't mind the use of him in the plot. I thought it was really a good way to use it, but it was just kind of like, why didn't you just pick anyone else? Like, why did it have I didn't understand why it had to be Ian Holmes' character model from the previous film, other than we just wanted fan service. That was just the major thing I didn't like. It didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was something that I feel like it could have definitely benefited more if they kept it in the shadows. If they really wanted to use that face, keep it kind of shrouded in darkness, to hide the CGI a bit more, and it probably would have sold it better. But yeah, it's like that uncanny valley look to it, and it just took me out a little bit every time I saw it. But that's the only major complaint I have with the film, which affects the score a little bit, but not by much. And yeah, well, for a non-alien fan, they're not going to catch a lot of these references and callbacks. I caught a few, and I felt like for the most part, they were honestly subtle, like really, really subtle, and they were worked well. Just like a few lines here and there, except for one line that bothered me so much. It's when Andy takes down the xenomorph in the elevator shaft, and he says the famous line, "Get away from her, you bitch." I'm like, that took me out of the movie completely.
Why?
Because that's the same famous line from Aliens, which takes place after this movie. So I was like, what? Like, I thought he was going to just say "get away from her," and I was like, okay, like, weird, but fine. Then he adds the "you bitch" at the end, and I'm like, okay, you literally just, I don't know. It was one of those like fan service lines where like there's a few in this movie that I was okay with and I thought worked well, but that was the one where I was like, it felt like you stopped the movie just to kind of throw that line in the fans' face. It bothered me. Like, trust me, I just felt like, okay, the director stopped the movie to just give a little fan service right there. Took me out of it, but it passed. It was quick, whatever. It was fun, but I didn't like it. It just felt weird, and it didn't make sense. I mean, it kind of does, because Jordan is calling Andy a bitch the whole time, so I guess that's where he picked it up from. But yeah, it was just one of those lines that was a little in your face. But other than that, like I said, those are the only complaints I have, and they're very nitpicky. Like, it's just like one line and like the CGI for the Ian Holmes character, which they brought back. Let's talk about the big divisive 20 minutes, which is Isabella Merced. They escape, they get away. Isabella Merced is in the pod ready to go to sleep, but suddenly her birth starts to accelerate. Now, this is the part that kind of confuses me. Maybe you can explain it a little more. She injects herself with that serum, the Prometheus fire, that Rook explains.
Yes.
Which is, I'm glad that's like the little tie-in they got from Prometheus, which I think is cool, and it explains more of their missions throughout Alien. And shows like, that's, that they were actually out there to look for like an alien and the Prometheus fire goo and all that stuff. Did she inject herself with that stuff out of fear and in hopes that it would cure her?
I think so. I think she was kind of like really fucked up and didn't know if she was going to be able to make it to the ship on how that's, at least this is how I took it, that she didn't have the confidence to go to the ship herself. And also, yes, scared for her baby, but she was like, I need help. And she took the serum for that reason.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I assumed. I was like, okay, I'm assuming she just took it out of fear, because you'd have to be a fucking idiot to inject yourself with that. Yeah. But I get set why, because there was like that thing with the rat that happened. And I was like, okay, I can see where she thought maybe, just a long shot, it could help her. And of course, she saw Navarro go through like that awful like face hugger incident. So she was like, I don't want to end up like that. So I get it. But it was still like one of those like, it's another thing with this movie that I give props to, because a lot of the characters make really stupid decisions throughout, but it also like makes sense within the context of the story and what's happening.
Yeah. Also, they're young, like the character. Like,
yeah.
they're young
Yeah.
teenagers, young adults, whatever the fuck they are. So like they're going to naturally make decisions that aren't the best.
Yeah. So in that aspect, it's cool. I get it. But it does not work out in her favor because it ends up accelerating her birth, and she gives birth to this nasty looking egg, which is just disturbing. It was so fucking
Have you
disgusting to
seen?
watch.
Did you watch Buffy, like the series?
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it. Like I would only remember bits and pieces. I don't
Did
remember full
Did
episodes.
you see the episode with the gentleman?
I know of it.
I'm gonna send you a picture because that's
Uh,
exactly what it fucking looked like.
okay. But yeah, while you do that, yeah, she gives birth to this egg, and Rain, the main girl, she is ready to freeze it until she sees the egg hatching, and she sees that there's a human face in it. So she gets very hesitant, and then the egg, being covered in acid of some sort, disintegrates through the floor, and it falls through. And she tries to go after it to nuke it, and then we get our alien hybrid creature, our alien engineer hybrid creature. Now, this is what made or break the movie for a lot of people because, oh, hold on. Sent it. Yes, dude. Oh, man. This kind of also reminds me of the Haunted Mask a little bit.
I can say that, yeah.
Yeah. That Goosebumps episode. But yeah, that looked spot on like that, honestly. um, but yeah, we get our alien engineer hybrid, and that made or break the movie for a lot of people because the design, I'm not gonna lie, it's creepy, but a lot of it also I just is kind of like it kind of looked a little goofy to me, but it was still creepy enough where I was like, I don't want that thing near me. Like, I wanted to, it needs to go away. Please get out of here. It was so uncomfortable to look at. But I also noticed a few people, like even my friend, like Hodap, he was with me and he was just chuckling. He was like, "What the fuck is this?" um, yeah, he was creeped out, but he was like, it kind of looked goofy, and I agreed. In some shots, or some lighting, it looked goofy, but it was still creepy enough the way it moved and sulked around, and how it had like the height. It had like the height of the engineer from Prometheus and kind of bit of the face from the engineers in Prometheus, and also like the same stance as like the alien itself. So I thought it was creepy. A lot of people didn't like it because one, they felt like it was a callback to the what is considered one of the worst alien movies, Alien Resurrection, where there's a hybrid in that film. Yeah, so I thought it was the first time they did something like it, but it turns out it's been done before. But I don't know, the way it looked like, I saw like a clip or something online, the way it looked like it was done before, it looked not what I would have expected, what they would have taken that hybrid for a turn, I guess. But I don't know. I'll have to watch the movie for more context, but I don't know. I can't say much on it. I don't have a right to. But yeah, this thing is really creepy looking. It's all lanky. It looks gross. And a lot of people didn't like it. But for me, I thought it worked. I thought it was really creepy. Are you looking at the alien hybrid from Alien Resurrection right now?
I hope that's not it.
They look all like a candle, like a melted candle on a face.
It's like this green. I don't know if you could see it. Its dick is like tucked into its stomach. I don't know if this is.
No,
That's not it.
that's not it.
Okay, it says Alien Resurrection on the photo, so.
This thing. Damn you, green screen.
What the fuck is that?
That is an alien hybrid, or alien human hybrid.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah,
It kind of looks like the Mummy.
it looks like a melted candle on a face. Yeah, I don't know. It looks goofy. If anything, the creature here, it kind of reminded me of the creature in the movie Splice. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen Splice, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which is funny. Splice is kind of inspired from Alien and stuff a little, so um, I just thought it was a funny connection. There's actually a lot, like off topic. There's a lot of this movie that reminds me of other stuff too. Like honestly, I feel like Fede Alvarez would kill it if he made a Dead Space movie. Because a lot of this really looked like Dead Space. Like I was when I recently played the remake a few months ago for PS5. A lot of the shots here reminded me of Dead Space, which is funny because Dead Space is inspired by Alien. Like they're clearly like on the same vein of like style. So it just had me thinking like, yeah, I feel like Fede would kill it in that. I know you haven't played the game, so but if you look at clips of it, you'll be like, oh, I can definitely see it. And honestly, if it were to happen, perfect. Get him do it. But yeah, a lot of people weren't a fan of it. Like I said, I'm fucking broken record here. I thought it worked. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great.
And let's see. Other than that, I mean, there's not much else I can say about it. I mean, I could fully go on into the sequences that I love, like the one where I said that involved like zero gravity. It's where it's the sequence where Rain is shooting the aliens. She turns on the zero gravity, and the aliens are floating. She shoots them in the head. The acid's floating in the air, and her and Andy have to navigate and float around it. It was so cool. Just an awesome visual sequence, and very tense too.
I'm surprised we didn't get this. I guess not, because they would have to negotiate with Disney. I'm surprised we didn't get this as a Horror Nights house.
Yeah, honestly. Didn't we do this before? Didn't they do an Alien House before? Or am I just making that up?
Going to look that up because I don't know if they ever have, actually.
I feel like after this, they're gonna definitely consider it.
I don't, well, no, because
this felt like a haunted house movie a lot of the times.
They have they in Hollywood in 2014 and 2015 they did an Alien versus Predator house.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was like I kept thinking AVP. Like I was like, it must be that.
They did one in Orlando in 2014. Why do I not remember that?
I was like saying because I was like, I feel like I remember seeing a xenomorph at one point. I don't remember a predator, but
that's the only. You know what? Actually, I do vaguely remember Predator. I don't really remember Alien, but I do vaguely remember Predator. Yeah. Okay, so they have.
Okay, cool. But yeah, with Romulus, like now I already picture it like reigniting the Alien brand, especially with the Alien series coming out next year too on Hulu, Alien Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm excited for that. I love Noah Hawley. Anything Noah Hawley touches, I think he's a master at. So I'm really excited for this show.
I didn't even know about it until there was like a ad for it in the theater. It wasn't even
like
a preview.
A small little teaser.
Kind of. It was kind of just like a title card that showed up in my theater.
Yeah.
But
it showed in your theater?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
And that's why I was like, oh shit. I heard of this series like 2 days ago, so I don't really know anything about it. It takes place before Prometheus, right?
It takes place, I believe it's before. I know it's before Alien. I don't know about Prometheus.
Okay,
we'll see, because there is a giant gap between Prometheus.
How long before Alien does Prometheus take place?
So let's see. I got the timeline here, actually. The timeline is... So if we're not counting AVP, because we should not count AVP, it's Prometheus, which takes place in 2093. Alien Covenant, which is 2104. Alien, which is 2122. And then Romulus, which is 2142. Exactly like 20 years after the first Alien. I don't know when Alien Earth is going to take place. It hasn't been revealed yet. As far as I know. Let's do some research real quick. Intermission, y'all. I know You love looking and listening to dead air. But we have to do this. We can't. It will serve as a prequel and will be set 3 decades before the events of Alien. So I guess it's before Alien Covenant,
Okay.
if they're counting it. I mean, they have to count it if they included Prometheus, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how it's gonna work, honestly. Oh, here's something interesting. They're working on oh wait, did they already work on this? Did you know there's an Alien Isolation series? Like an animated series?
Oh no, I did not.
Apparently it was released in 2019. It's 7 episodes. That's interesting. I had no idea. Shoot, I'm gonna have to check that out. Um, but okay, yeah, but no, that show's gonna take place 3 decades before the first Alien. We'll see how much it connects to Covenant.
I'm looking at
Uh,
this timeline. I didn't realize how much fucking like alien like lore there is. Like
there's a
how
lot.
many entry. I
There's a
had,
lot. Yeah, no, there's a lot. I haven't seen 3 and 4. There's a lot. Those are the ones that a lot of fans are like super divided on, but there's mainly a lot of dislike towards it. And Prometheus and Covenant have very big ideas that a lot of people were like, you expanded too much on the lore. There's so much in this. Um, but yeah, it's it's very massive, and I'm really curious to see what Disney's gonna do with Romulus next, like where they're gonna go. If they're gonna focus on Rain and Andy, I feel like they have to, or if they're gonna go with some other characters. Only time will tell, but I definitely want to see a sequel to this, and I would definitely love Fede to come back and see what he can do with it.
yeah, because like the ending, it ends a little open ended.
Yeah, it ends the exact same way that Alien ended, like the exact same way.
Yeah, so I saw an article, or read an article where they asked him about a sequel, and he was like, if people want it, we already have ideas for it. He was like, it won't. He said he has a belief that you should never make a sequel, within 2 years. And he was like, Alien and Aliens are 7 years apart.
Yep.
So he's like, if we do a sequel, it's not going to be for a while. But I do have ideas. And if, the film does well and a sequel is ordered, then boom.
Yeah, which, we'll see how long that statement stays, depending how much money this movie makes, because it's grossing a lot of money. It already topped Deadpool at the box office this week.
Yeah, we were supposed to get an Evil Dead sequel, and that never happened.
It kind of did. Just, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, just let it be. Like, don't bring it back. Just like do something new.
No, it's been too long now.
Yeah, it's been way too long. I don't care what Jane Levy character is gonna do in that one.
It's been 11 years.
It's like she's fucked. That's all I'm gonna say. She's just fucked. It's just. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I can say about this film. Honestly, I think this movie is damn near perfect, except for a few things. It is my favorite Alien film. I'll say it's my favorite Alien sequel because I do really love that first movie. I've seen it quite a few times. But yeah, this one is like damn near perfect to me. And if I'm gonna rate it, I'm gonna just do a 9.5 out of 10.
I will give it a 10 out of 10. Fede, because the things that bother you don't necessarily bother me.
Yeah, which I mean, there's no way they would. Like, you haven't, like, that's the thing. That's why I say if you haven't seen an Alien movie, I think you're gonna have a fucking blast with this one.
He called me fucking stupid.
Yes. No, like, because this is a lot of just a few things in here where I'm like, it really misses the mark, but at the end of the day, it's like that doesn't take away a lot from this movie for me. But because at the end of the day, I'm gonna love this movie. I'm gonna rewatch it multiple times, and I'm gonna just fucking keep doing it. Why are you laughing?
I was looking for my dog, and I turn around.
Where is he?
He's sleeping on his bed, but I turn around, and I I look at the screen, and I just see a bunch of smoke because of the picture that I have as my background, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? For a second.
It's late. It's late, huh?
It's
Oh fuck,
it's
bro! You gotta go
12:30
to
in the morning.
bed. You're seeing shit.
I was like, fuck.
Emma.
Oh. But yeah, it's a
Oh
great
man.
movie. Go watch it.
Yes. Great. Go watch it. It is worth sacrificing your sleep for. I'm most likely gonna be watching it again sometime soon. I definitely want to see it again. But that's gonna do it for this review. What are your thoughts on Alien Romulus? Have you seen it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell us why. But we know you loved it. Don't deny it. Were you bothered by the things that bothered me? Or do you believe that it is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece like him? Definitely comment down below.
3 horror films in, and it's fucking killed every single one.
Yes. Honestly. I love anything horror. I'm not going to count Girl with the Spiderweb because that's not horror. But
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, he's done more.
I don't even want to count that as his because it's not horror. I don't know if that's fair, but... But yeah, tell us your thoughts on this movie. Comment down below and hit that like button and subscribe to us. That's how it's gonna get us going so we can do more of these videos. We love talking horror movies, and we also got some pretty cool and exciting things coming to the channel. We will have more announcements for that in the future, but for now, stay tuned for more future reviews coming out. What else do we got coming up? We got
Strange Darling? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I'm
oh my
excited for
god,
that.
I've been seeing so many. I had a chance to see it early, and I didn't get to see it early. I should have. Because I didn't see the trailer. I just read the plot synopsis, and I'm like, that sounds crazy. I want to watch that now.
Yeah, the trailer.
And
really
I've been
good.
hearing some good word of mouth so far. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll try to catch that soon.
I think it comes out next week.
I think it's out.
Is it?
I think. Oh no, I think it's coming out this week. It may be coming out this Thursday. I don't know if it's early screenings or not.
I think there may be early screenings because there was an early screening. I could have saw it last week, but I had to work and I didn't get to go.
That was the thing. Yeah, I had a chance to see it last week too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is that movie, and I was gonna say let's count the Crow, but let's not count the Crow. I don't fucking.
No.
I'm probably gonna watch that because the family wants to watch it.
I don't know if you can consider that horror though.
It's gothic. It's dark.
Like that's.
Like I guess I don't know. I would count it like it's more like a gothic superhero dark fantasy story, but I would still I would throw the original in there, I'd say, more than maybe this remake, but we'll see. I'm still gonna end up watching it. I just feel like I have to out of obligation with these Crow movies. But that's a whole different topic for a different day. And then that, there's Beetlejuice, early September. I don't know what else is gonna be coming out. I guess we're just gonna have to. It's time to play catch up on movies we've missed, Jerry. That's all I'm gonna say. Whatever they are. But that's gonna be it for this video. Yeah, no. October's coming back. It's gonna bring it up. Oh, you know what it is? You know what this gives more time for? Now you got to watch Terrifier.
Terrifier. Yeah, I do need to see that. Yeah.
Yes, you must. You have to watch those nasty ass movies. That's gonna be fun to talk about. I don't know if we should do something special for that. Like if we should have like some sort of a commentary, like or something. I don't know. I feel like we got to do something fun with those movies. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Long ass outro. Comment down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Once again, I am Brandon.
I am Jerry.
Stay spooky.